It's Saturday morning. You're standing in your kitchen, coffee still warm, the day wide open. There's no rush, no alarm, just you, the quiet, and a few minutes to yourself. But that quiet gets interrupted. You're standing in your kitchen, coffee going cold, and you're staring at your phone, Maninos, and you can't look away. And right there on your screen is a headline that says, "The average person your age is worth nearly $1 million." You look around. You see your mortgage statement, your car payment, maybe a loan you took out for someone you love. And suddenly that headline feels less like news and more like a verdict. And you think, am I the problem? Here's what I need you to hear before anything else. You are not the problem. The number is. And in the next 6 minutes, I'm going to prove it to you. And then show you exactly what to do about it. Let's start by dismantling the headline that's been quietly destroying people's confidence. Federal Reserve data says the average American household in their mid 40s has a net worth of nearly $975,000, almost $1 million. And if you're sitting at 45 with a 401k, a mortgage, and some credit card debt, that number feels like a personal attack. But here's the thing nobody tells you. That number is mathematically misleading. When you calculate an average, you throw every single person's wealth into one pile and divide. Sounds fair. It isn't. So when you drop a handful of billionaires into that calculation alongside everyday working families, the average explodes, but it tells you nothing about the person in the middle. The number that actually matters is the median, the person standing right in the center of the line. And that number, it's $247,000, not a million, not even close. That's nearly a 4 times difference between what the headlines scream and what reality looks like for the actual typical American. The average is inflated by people at the extreme top. The median is your neighbor. The median is you. Before we go any further, if this is already making you feel seen, do me a favor and hit that like button and subscribe to the Money Momentum channel. We drop new videos every week to help real people make sense of real money. Now, let's keep going. So, $247,000 sounds decent, right? $250,000. Except here's the part that changes everything. For most people in their mid 40s, somewhere between 60 and 70% of that entire net worth is locked inside their house. It's home equity. It's not in a brokerage account. It's not sitting in a savings account ready to be used. It's in the walls. Strip out the home equity, and the typical 45-year-old has roughly $87,000 covering everything else: retirement, emergencies, investments, everything. And here's the hard truth about home equity: it's not money you can actually spend without serious consequences. To access it, you either sell your house and still need somewhere to live, you refinance and extend your debt, or you borrow against it at interest rates that feel like a penalty for owning a home. Now let's talk retirement. The financial industry's gold standard says by age 50, you should have 6 times your annual salary saved. For a median income household, that's roughly $700,000 in retirement accounts. The actual median 401k balance for people aged 45 to 54? $60,763. Not 6 times, not even close to 1 time. And approximately 38% of households in this age group have essentially zero retirement savings. Here's something that almost never makes the news. Between 2019 and 2023, the 40 to 54 age group was the only age bracket in America to actually lose wealth, in real terms. Under 40s gained nearly 50%. Over 70s gained 15%. This generation, down 7%. Why? Because the timing was brutal. When you were young enough to take financial risks, you were recovering from 2008. The crash didn't just cost money, it cost years. When your income finally stabilized and you were ready to invest, the stock market and housing market had already run away. By the time you had enough saved to buy in, around 2019, 2020, 2021, prices had tripled. The window to build easy wealth opened, filled up, and closed, all before this generation could get through it. Add to that the reality that today's mid-40s adult is often financially supporting three generations at once. Aging parents whose care costs thousands per month, kids still at home or needing financial help, and younger children still in school with years of expenses ahead. More than half of Americans in their 40s are supporting a parent while also caring for children. 1 in 5 is doing both, plus supporting an adult child simultaneously. This is not recklessness. This is what it looks like to be responsible in a system that stacked the timeline against you. There's one more quiet hope a lot of people carry around. You may have heard that boomers are about to pass down somewhere around $84 trillion over the coming decades. And if you're behind, it's tempting to think, okay, something's coming eventually. Let me gently set that aside. Nearly 40% of people expect to inherit money. Only around 22% of those who would leave it actually plan to. Those numbers don't match. And of that massive $84 trillion, about 68% comes from just 7% of households, among the very wealthy. For the average family, the median inheritance from the bottom half of wealth distribution is roughly $9,700, and with end-of-life care averaging over $130,000 per person. Much of what parents plan to leave gets consumed before it ever transfers. Don't plan around an inheritance. Plan around yourself. Here is where I need you to lean in, because this is the part that actually matters. If you're 45 today, you have a 20-year compounding window. That is not nothing. That is one of the most powerful financial tools in existence, and it is still available to you right now. Let's run the real numbers. At a 7% average annual return, which reflects a broadly diversified index fund portfolio over long periods, saving just $800 to $1,000 a month starting today gets you to somewhere between $500,000 and $600,000 by age 65. Is that retire to a beach fortune? No. But is it the difference between genuine financial security and spending your 70s anxious about every bill? Absolutely, yes. Here's what the path forward actually looks like for a regular person. Step 1. Open your retirement account and bump your contribution by just 3 to 4%. Even $300 to $400 more per month going in pre-tax is a meaningful shift. Step 2, open a Roth IRA if you don't have one. Automate a fixed monthly contribution. Even $200 a month is a start. Step 3, stop waiting for a perfect plan. The single most expensive mistake at 45 is deciding it's too late. The compounding math doesn't care about your feelings, like it just needs time and consistency. A decision made today, like one conversation, one change to a contribution percentage, at 7% compounded over 20 years can quietly build hundreds of thousands of dollars that didn't exist before that moment. So let's put a real scoreboard on the screen for 2026. If your net worth is under $48,000, you're in the bottom 25%, and you are not alone. Roughly 1 in 4 people your age is right there with you. At $247,000, you're exactly at the median, middle of the line. You are the typical American. At $680,000, you're in the top 25%. That is genuinely doing well. Here's the truth I want to leave you with. The number you wrote down today, whatever it is not the number that defines you. The number that matters is the one you'll have in 20 years, and that number is still being written. You are not behind because you failed. You are behind because the game got harder and nobody sent the memo. Now you have it. Go make your Monday morning move. If this video gave you clarity, please hit that like button. It genuinely helps this channel reach more people who need to hear this. And subscribe to Money Momentum so you never miss a video. New content drops every week, like real numbers, real strategies for real people building real wealth. See you in the next one.